We're backstage at Sziget Festival with Conor from the band Nothing But Thieves. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Today I had the chance to listen to your upcoming album released in September, Broken Machine. And listening to the songs, I had the impression that it's a bit of a more guitar-driven album than your debut. How did that come about?
That came about from 2.5 years of touring profusely. Just on the road so much that your identity kind of takes shape. The first album, weirdly, was written in the first stages of our touring. It was really early on. So somewhat the characteristics aren't as bandy and aren't as live as we'd have liked. But that was a time and a place, and I love that album. I've nothing bad to say about it. But I appreciate what about this album is that we've really focused on being able to have a really good live setting within the tracks, and they can translate really well live. And we started doing a few of them about now, and they really work. It's a lot more seamless than the last album in terms of that. So yeah, it's good that you picked up on that.
The title of the album is Broken Machine. It's not about the band, is it?
Oh, what do you mean?
The band is not a broken machine.
Oh, I see. No, not at all. No, Broken Machine, that's one of the songs on the album, and that kind of encompassed everything we were writing about on that album. Broken Machine, it's a metaphor really for things that have been put in place, systems, so to speak, that seem perfect on the exterior, but on the interior there's flaws and cracks and things going wrong. And that could be anything from mental health to religion, to politics, to love. And it's just, when we wrote the song Broken Machine, the title just seemed so fitting in terms of everything else within the album. Even if that song in particular is more about mental health, it just seemed to encompass everything. And it's a really strong visual and a strong name, I think, so we were really pleased with it.
The first album made the British top 10.
Yeah.
Do you have any chart expectations this time, or it's not so important for you?
If I'm honest, me personally, I've never really cared. Everyone talks about it all the time, between label and bandmates. And I'm always a bit like hazy-eyed towards it, because of course, as much as it's important and it really helps you having a top 10 album, not really about numbers for me. I just want to get the music out there, and I want people to love it. I want to play it, and I want to experience it in that sense. But I think there are expectations from the label and from the bandmates too. You know, we really want to go for top 5 album. Top 3 would be amazing. I mean, I want to go for number 1 really. At the end of the day, we do, because I think our music deserves it, and I don't want to be big-headed, but you know, we work really hard on this, and I think it's actually an album rather than a bunch of singles. You know, it's an album of thought-out work, and I think people, well, our fans especially, seem to appreciate that. We put a lot of effort into each song individually to make it stand out on the album, on the 11 tracks. Each song has its own place, you know, and that's really important for us, not to just have 3 singles and 8 fillers like some people do.
The first single of the album was Amsterdam, and you shot the video to the song in the Ukraine, in this kind of abandoned Chernobyl type of area. Well, the name of the song is Amsterdam. How come you didn't shoot the video in Amsterdam?
Well, because it's not really about the actual place, Amsterdam, really. It is, but that's more of a metaphor. Amsterdam in the song is a place of release for us, and a place of sanctuary, and a place that we have all collectively enjoyed and spend time with. And we're actually going to go there soon and have a night out all together. So, you know, it's more, the song's about frustration, about literally butting your head against the wall at what is bothering you. And Amsterdam is in the middle 8, it's a release, and it is that place of solitude for us, you know. So that song, that name in particular, is more of, it's a metaphor for what you can have to release you from that frustration. But also, we shot in Ukraine because it's really cheap there and there's loads of good places to shoot. That's the honest answer.
And you also shot Sorry, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. The shooting locations are incredible. I mean, I don't think I should dive too much into it, but I think when the problems between Russia and Ukraine, whenever that happened, there was a lot of Russian film teams left in Ukraine, like incredible Russian film teams, and they're still there now working and making the most amazing music videos and other videos. There's so many music videos that are shot in Ukraine because the teams are so good, and I've just heard so many good things through bands that we know, like Foles and Kasabian and all these other bands that have said they shoot there because the teams are so good and they're willing to really work hard at it and make it special. And it's true. We did 2 videos there, and they're 2 of our best videos, and I would go and shoot there again.
Among others, you've been compared to the band Muse, who you have toured with. What did you gain from that experience?
Yeah, it was wicked. It was the first ever arena experience. So we didn't know what to expect, other than to be a bit daunting, you know, be a bit scary. But it was incredible. Watching Muse every night and watching how they handle that amount of people was really eye-opening for me. The grace and the kind of poise they have on stage is really cool. Obviously, the production's just out of this world, and as good as it is to see and to take note of, we won't be there for another 20 years because it's just crazy what they do. But it was really cool to see how you could step it up to that level. Learned a lot, really. Learned a lot about being professional and they're the top of the game, essentially, for rock music and for band music, essentially. So it's really cool to be able to witness that. And they were really lovely too.
I read that Matt Bellamy gave you some piece of advice that you need to be boring if you want to be a rock star. What did he mean by that?
Well, it's just, especially, I basically said, like, I want some advice for my voice because, I mean, without sounding arrogant, we were just saying the only person I can really relate to in terms of my vocal range and the power and what we do with it. And I said I need, I would like some advice for it. And he was just like, the way I've maintained it for the last 15 years is really being boring. And he said, just avoid acidic foods, avoid loads of alcohol, avoid loads of smoking, avoid, all this sort of stuff, and get a good night's rest, and all this sort of stuff that I was doing anyway. So it was like a nod in the head that I was in the right direction. But it basically is, if I want to maintain the way I sing and the way I want to present it, every show live, we tour so much, I need to be boring, I need to maintain that. And it's fine with me there because it also, me being kind of stable on tour, helps me mentally as well, like to be a bit more stable and to get through these long tours for sure. So it was good advice, and in a way, if he'd said, oh yeah, I just party all the time and I just drink, I would be like, how? I'd be almost a bit like in awe. So it's
Liam
good.
Gallagher.
Yeah, yeah. Well, his voice is a bit shot now, isn't it? So, but I love Liam Gallagher. He's so funny. Yeah. I'm effective, or maybe I'm dumb. I'm sorry, so sorry for what I've done.
One of the songs on your first album is called Ban All the Music.
Yeah.
If you could ban one kind of music, one genre of music, what would it be?
Country.
Really?
I grew up on it. My dad, oh my God, was like the biggest country fan in the UK, I swear. I appreciate like the storytelling, but it's just so manufactured for me, and it's very rhythmical. It's set. It's like a workshop for music, and I noticed it because we went out to Nashville and kind of experienced it. And I'm just not a big fan of the music, so I would say country. But it has its merit, so I don't want to be too horrible.